Yo! Video games.
And it's, you know, like, it's weird too, because we talk about power fantasy too. Like, and when we played God of War, I played on the second hardest difficulty. Because, like, I know the hardest difficulty was fuck.
I really dislike the harder difficulty,
Yes.
whatever I played on in Ragnarok.
Yeah,
especially.
Ragnarok.
It led to some very frustrating
That one
engagements.
was, but the second one I think was fucking perfect. But then, because
It was like one hit, you're dead.
almost like
It was like weird.
Like the hardest difficulty in Ragnarok was fucking awesome. And the thing is too is like if you have these power fantasy games, then you're just going around wailing on shit, and it's kind of like Fast and the Furious, where just there's no repercussions, and you're just like But it kind of felt good. It felt great playing this really fucking hard game, and I had to think, and I had to like do all this shit and use all my brain, and then I win. Then I'm like, fuck yeah, you know. So that's kind of like what Souls games do, and that's even what Ragnarok did when I was playing on the second hardest difficulty. That it was like, oh shit. Even though Kratos should be just pub stomp everybody, but it felt good, like using your brain and strategy, and you know
what would be a great power fantasy game that would allow, if it was good, like if it actually had like
Kratos
good,
was also crying.
Huh?
No, Kratos was crying.
Oh yeah. If it had good combat and a good like mechanics, it would be a Superman game. A Superman game that is fucking godlike.
People have been talking about that
They could.
Yes.
They could. They could
a
just,
good
like,
power
they
fantasy
could
would be a
just
Superman game, have him do all these crazy shit, but allow the combat to be balanced enough to where it's not idiotic. You know what I mean?
Well, what they could do.
And that's the tough part. How do you balance that?
Well,
this is why nobody's done it.
Well, look at fucking Kratos. He's a fucking god.
He doesn't fly, dude.
Well, he doesn't need to.
So that's not Superman's number one thing.
Right. You can't do that in the air.
Lift a continent.
You can, but like the ability.
Again, in every Superman cartoon, when does he ever lift up a fucking continent?
No, but I'm saying
we know he's capable.
I'm saying everything Superman does that is like impressive and when people identify him by is flight.
Yes.
So
okay,
and so the difference is that Kratos power level wise in God of War 2018 and Ragnarok is pretty low.
Yeah.
Like what he does is pretty fucking grounded and kind of normal
compared to what he used to do.
Compared to even like what Dante does, bro.
Yeah.
Like he is much closer, and that's why those games are more grounded and realistic. They're closer to Souls-likes. And the developers have said as much. They're closer to Souls games.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you have a limited amount of abilities. It's about countering the enemies. Like, Kratos can be straight up ganked by a couple of jobber bots.
Yeah, dude. I remember
what was his name? Goku. Goku as well. Imagine a Dragon Ball, Souls-like game or something like that, where the character's flying around, maybe landing, doing crazy
Superman,
shit. Superman, same thing, you know.
Well, Superman, they could just add, like, you know, like, he was knocked
Man of
out,
Steel
and then
bots.
they put Red
Sun.
Red Sun.
You literally have
all
to
these extra things.
You have to compromise Superman in some way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which you always have to do.
Surprised
what they did with Kratos.
Surprised me to learn this. Big time Superman fans don't like Superman the animated series or the Justice League Unlimited as much because the writers very intentionally nerfed Superman.
Oh, yeah.
And they feel Superman the animated series is too nerfed.
Yeah.
They feel he's a little too de-leveled.
Softened, yeah.
Yeah, he's too softened. And they're like, we consciously made this decision to do that, making the show, because...
He's impossible to write for.
like if we made him too powerful, it was like any enemy we have go up against him, it's like...
exactly. The only thing...
Here's the thing, the thing, though, is that it's canon that, Kryptonite hurts him, so they have a different enemies that have Kryptonite powers. He's also weak to magic, so they have different enemies that do that. So there are things that
the best way to do a Superman thing is to have his main villain be magic-based.
Yes,
and have him put in a situation with a bunch of magic-based villains.
Put him into a scenario where he's...
That's it.
Put him into a scenario where he's just on a planet that has a specific level of sun. A magic person sends him off to a different planet that has a red sun, and he has to figure out how to get his powers back.
But is that an interesting game?
Absolutely.
To tell you that you have a less powerful Superman right off the bat, he's on a different planet.
If within the first chapter, he gets at least flight back. and he's able to fly around.
So you're telling me, so you're telling me you want to like God of War Super Metroid it, where you start off with all this crazy shit,
yes,
and then you get a compromise and you have to like rebuild
your
your
shit.
Yeah, I could definitely
So you
see.
get flight. How does flight work? Is it flight limited? Like, what is the boundaries?
It's not an easy thing to do.
Invincible walls.
Change the routes or change the visualization of what action combat could be. As everything we've seen in combat has always been grounded. Imagine a character going through flight and doing the same cool shit as you would on the ground.
Right, but if he can fly, how do you design a level around that?
Having enemies being able to fly as well.
That's the tough part.
Sure,
Right.
but then you're basically playing a jet fighter simulator.
No,
almost.
they could also go to the ground. You could also knock them to the ground.
Right, but what's the map level design? What's progress look like when you can fly?
You have a world where, oh god, what is those? The steampunk shit? Where they have the fucking flying like ships and stuff like that. Have them go through that. Have them fight characters that are, in the sky.
So it's not on Earth.
No, it's like I said, the magic character would send him to
Well, I'm
another
not talking
planet.
about like the lore reasons. I mean, like,
No, I'm not
how
saying
do you
lore.
design a level?
Yes, so-
if you give someone flight, how do you design a level around it? Does he have free flight?
Yes, of
Does he
course,
have
it's
limited
fine.
flight?
Yes.
Is there invisible walls?
Well, it depends.
What blocks you?
Okay.
What blocks you from just like moving to the end of an area?
Okay, so let's say he has limited flight, right? Which would probably be ideal because again, Red Sun, lore wise, he only can fly for a certain amount of time. If that's the case, then sure, he can be a character that can fight enemies within the ground, that can be able to do as much as they want, and then fly for as long as he wants, and do air combos in flight. But then he only has a certain amount of time, and then as you get farther in the game, he can fly for as long as he wants. It is fucking Superman. He can do that. And the same thing with like a Goku character. Oh, he doesn't have the Kamehameha. He has to earn that somewhere down the road or something like that. Cool stuff like that could be with those characters who are already considered overpowered. But it can happen. You can't.
Yeah, I've not played like Kakarot. Like maybe that something like that.
Yeah.
To that effect, I don't know.
Yeah,
But
and
to me, I'm just kind of like, okay, so. Is it level based? Is it open world? Is it like how is progression handled?
It can easily be visualized. Easily. The same thing with people that say, oh, they didn't like the animated series Superman. You do realize how fucking insane Golden Era fucking Superman was.
Right.
He could like fucking cough or something like that. No, he like sneezed and he blew away a galaxy. The motherfucker could make multiple versions of himself. Tiny fucking Superman characters that ran around and stabbed the shit out of you or some crazy shit. I was like, what the fuck is his powers?
I have a question.
They didn't understand what was going on.
I'm gonna pick your brain.
Yeah.
I've always found Superman kind of uninteresting.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
But what you have talked about this game idea for a Superman game for a long time.
Yes, 'cause
and you always have a fascination with Superman. What is it?
I like the idea of a character who is
Like Limitless?
Yes, because the idea of him isn't the fact that, oh, he's so powerful, this is so fucking awesome. It's what do you do with that power? It's the same scenario. With great power comes great responsibility. The purpose of Superman has always been, what is your moral?
He could literally take over the whole fucking planet in a
if he
blink,
wanted to.
But he's too pure.
Right, and
his purity is what does it for him.
And every scenario of the alternate Superman in different dimensions, the evil versions of him have always been like toppled or something happens to them. You know what I mean? So it always comes down to that his decision making. So I always respect the idea that he knows how powerful he is. And he understands what he needs to do in order to balance that out within the world. This is why he becomes Clark Kent and all this bullshit like that.
So it definitely feels like whatever Superman game that should exist
should be
literally hyper focused around decision making.
That's what I said. I'm
why Superman comes to the choices he does and putting that in the player's hands.
Yes.
And the consequences of those choices is exactly what should either lead Superman towards like the good end or the fucking crazy bizarro Superman bad end or some shit.
I mean, but at the same time, Superman Unhinged is fucking a cool idea because he does have characters that are his level.
It's Injustice.
Sure.
Yeah.
Darkseid, Doomsday, what is that, Mephisto or not Mephisto? The other guy,
Parasite.
Parasite, Amazo. Like, these are characters that could Lobo. Like, these are characters that could fuck his shit up. It doesn't matter about, power levels or magic or kryptonite. He could get his ass kicked. Does not matter if you say he's OP or not. He can lose. So, putting those characters in a world where he's fighting characters that could essentially, kick his ass, can be a thing. It's just how do you put it together? And like Simmons said, how do you pace that?
Yeah,
It can be
I
done.
think you make a good Superman game is you make a game that's basically Dispatch on one. It's two games in a sense. It's Dispatch. It's this big, well-animated, visual novel Sega CD style game. In Dispatch, you're working at a computer. You just tell people to go match this superhero to this crisis and send them out to go do it, and that's it.
Yeah.
In a Superman game, and when I wish Dispatch did this too, instead of just like you send someone to go somewhere, then switches over to gameplay, and it's like a closed environment, and you have someone like Soleil or some other one of these action game dev offshoots, and you go and you just play that villain, or in a Superman game, say you're Superman, it's like, oh, I have to go, you do this thing, visual novel, go to this area, this villain's here, and then it's basically like a boss fight.
Sure.
Or like a fight against a mob.
Whether or not
and you're
it's
doing
every-
you're doing like real time character action stuff with flight and stuff, but it's a closed area. It's like whatever section of the city of Metropolis you're going to, and you do this cool fight, and then at least it goes back to the visual novel where you have branching dialogue trees.
That
different
makes sense for
stuff
like an
that.
Avengers game or like a Justice League game or some shit.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah,
like
that's
you're
it.
you're technically like the pilot, that is back at the HQ figuring out what to do, where to go, how to do it.
Yeah.
And then you could choose to either
Right, like
manually
if
control or
they
not.
made Dispatch Justice League, and you are dispatching different
The Nick
Justice
Fury
League.
game,
Different Justice League characters
You
to
would-
go
you
somewhere,
would-
and then you get to play different.
So
I'm
you would-
Green
you would-
Lantern, I'm Flash.
You would
Superman.
essentially be Mr. Terrific in the what's it called?
The Justice, whatever.
The
they're
Justice
headquarters.
Tower, whatever, yeah. And then you would be like dispatching like, characters
Yeah.
all
Well,
over.
Mr. Terrific can fight on his own. Though.
Yeah, but he's better on a computer. He's just be doing shit and be like telling Wonder Woman, go fight the character over there,
Yeah.
and telling
I think
Flash.
that would be a really fun.
Yeah, well, they do a lot of like hijinks and crazy shit where you can have a lot of gameplay variety.
You know
too.
what's funny
Yeah.
is that we
Chases and
always
stuff like that.
we always say Superman is crazy busted, he's OP, blah blah blah. But you know who's fucking broken? Fucking Flash. You make a Flash game and there's nothing you can do. The character is so fast, he defeats everything through time.
And it's like all the limitations that you put on the characters just make that uninteresting for core fans.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with a Superman game, where it's like, no matter what you're going to do to compromise him, fans are going to be upset. It's like, are you meeting the expectations of fans, or are you just making a Superman game for the sake of making a Superman game?
You're not going to make everyone happy, and this is the same reason why he said that some Superman fans didn't like Justice League. The series was amazing. It was like the best fucking.
It's hard to
iteration.
argue, but like I've
Like-
seen it many times throughout the decades. People were like, "He's too nerfed in animated series."
And you know what? You can't make everyone happy.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, well,
It was
And that's
literally the best.
And that is the problem with like multimedia nowadays, is that so much of it, like, they're so risk adverse that you almost have to make something for, like, try to make something for the broadest, like, widest appeal possible.
Yeah.
But like the tried and true tale is that something for everybody is also something for no one, right?
nobody, yeah.
You greatly risk it being not for anybody because it
Yeah.
doesn't have any of the individual things that are really exemplary and good. It just like spreads itself super thin, like not enough butter on toast. What the fuck is the little
butter scraped over too much bread.
butter scraped over too much bread?
Hey
like,
man, that's why I love it when a developer or a producer or a company or whatever makes the thing for them.
Yes.
You know, they make it,
And they're just good at that
they
shit, and they fucking go.
It's like,
Like,
hey man, I
yeah.
really like this thing. I'm
Yeah.
gonna make it for me. Okay, do what you do, man. Enjoy yourself.
yeah.
So stop making it for the general audience, or you're trying to appeal to the people. This is why I don't like.
The reality is that there's too many different genres. There's too many different fans of different things. In video games is too broad of a term nowadays, because I look at, there's going to be
I call it interactive
thousands,
medium.
if not millions, of people who saw that Total War Warhammer trailer and were fucking amped.
Oh yeah.
I would never play.
Because it's made for those guys, and
I
it's
am-
insane.
Yeah.
I don't play RTSs. I don't know anything about Warhammer really, but that's gonna amp so many people.
Yeah.
So many people were super amped for it. So it's like you can't make every video game for everyone, because not everyone's gonna be into it. You could take the most popular genre, and I guarantee you, whatever the most popular game of all time is, there are millions of people who just don't like that style of game.
Sure.
But they do play other video games that are not the Call of Duty, the Madden, the FIFA, the whatever. So yeah, like you got to make the game you got to make the game you want to play.
And this is ultimately like why like a lot of movie productions fall
gotta
flat.
make the game
why
you
like
want to play.
a lot of Disney productions fall flat. Why a lot of fucking like Marvel movies have been falling flat like over the years is because they're so generalized that I'm like, who is this for?
They're afraid to take risks.
This isn't a director coming in with like a super unique vision of how to do this. Like, and it's where the entire production is led artistically.
Yeah.
No, like it feels like everything's made by a fucking committee. And you can tell because like I entered the theater and I'm anticipating something and I leave the theater feeling the exact same way. You know, it's like, oh, okay, I could have either seen that or not seen that. That's the difference between creatively led productions and things that are just made by suits.
Yeah, they want to avoid pissing off the fan base that they want to capture, as well as gaining the admiration of the general audience. So they're consistently trying to mix all that together.
Well, once you get the
and
suits,
it doesn't work in the long run. But it has worked for the original era of the Marvel movies. It did. And they figured out a way to...
No, those were all made by passionate people with fucking ideas, bro.
Well, I get that, but they still took ideas from the original comic books and said, yeah, we're throwing that out, and we're going to try something else on there.
Well, I mean, they had a premise, but like turning Captain America into a spy thriller was not like exactly how Captain America is always depicted.
Right.
You know, like having an idea for Iron Man to actually be cool.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of the ways and what they did, they were taking chances and trying different things. Like,
the suit things, like with the top people at the
James Gunn with Guardians.
Yeah.
Jesus.